The Supreme Court changed the rules. Population shifts are changing the map. The census will reshape congressional power. And migration and immigration are redefining the balance between red states and blue states. And the question is whether Black America will adapt strategically or stay politically reactive and stay as victims.
This is the Publisher's Desk with Damon K. Jones, brought to you by Black Westchester Magazine.
Peace and blessings, everybody. This is Damon K. Jones, and welcome to another edition of the Publisher's Desk, powered by Black Westchester Magazine and blackwestchester.com. And please go to blackwestchester.com and get the latest paper, brothers and sisters. This is the latest paper. Now, if you want the physical paper, you got to live in the Bronx, Westchester, Connecticut areas. And if you don't, that's why we got the e-download paper. You go to blackwestchester.com. You go to blackwestchester.com and get your e-paper. Listen, we about the real deal. We just not on here having commentary. We are a real news media company, blackwestchester.com. So check us out. So this show, we want to talk about gerrymandering because everybody keeps talking about it like it's only a Democrat versus Republican issue. What if the real issue is Black America is caught in the middle of a political war where both parties are fighting over districts, power, migration, and census numbers, while Black communities continue to struggle with ownership, school, crime and violence, housing, and economic decline? Because when politicians fight over maps, something bigger is happening underneath the surface. People are leaving blue states. Congressional seats are shifting south. Supreme Court rulings are changing the rules of redistricting. Immigration is becoming part of the census debate. And the political leverage Black America once had in places like New York, Illinois, California, and parts of the Northeast may not look the same in 10 years from now. Now, in this show, brothers and sisters, we're going to break down the gerrymandering war, why the Democrats may lose in the long run, and most importantly, what does it mean for Black America? Let's start simple. Gerrymandering is when political districts are drawn in the way that benefits one party over the other. Both Democrats and Republicans do it. So let's just not let them point the finger. They both do it. Let's just be honest about that. It's not a one-party problem. See, the difference is each party accuses the other side for destroying democracy while doing the similar thing when they're in control of state government. See, there are two main tactics. First is called packing. That means concentrating large numbers of voters, often Black voters or Democratic voters, into one district so they have less influence in surrounding districts. The second part is called cracking. That means splitting communities apart across multiple districts so their voting power is weakened. Historically, Black voters depend on majority Black districts to make sure Black communities had representation. See, that came out of the Voting Rights Act. Because without those protections, Black voting strength was often diluted intentionally. But now the Supreme Court is changing how race can be used in districting. And that changes everything. The Supreme Court has increasingly ruled, brothers and sisters, against race-based district maps. Conservatives on the court argued that districts cannot be drawn primarily based on race, even if the intention is to protect minority representation. See, that creates a legal contradiction because Democrats and civil rights groups have often argued that Black districts are necessary to protect black political power. But the conservative courts increasingly argued that race-based districts violate equal protection principles. So what happens? Red states now have stronger legal argument to withdraw districts in a way that reduce guaranteed Democratic majority black seats. Now, this is why the Supreme Court decision matter beyond politics, because once the legal standard changes, it affects the future of redistricting battles after every census. And here is the uncomfortable truth. Black political influence became heavily tied to Democratic-controlled urban districts. If the legal system, pay attention, if the legal system changes how those districts are built, black political leverage changes too. Now, let's talk geography. Democrats have a structural problem. Democratic voters are heavily concentrated in major cities like New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, Philadelphia, Atlanta. Republicans are more geographically spread across the suburbs, rural countries, and smaller metropolitan areas. See, that matters, brothers and sisters, because congressional districts are based on geography, not social media popularity. See, Democrats, they could win millions of votes in dense urban centers, but still lose the district. For example, if one district is 85% Democrat, those extra votes do not help win the neighboring district. Republicans often spread their voters more effectively. That is why, brothers and sisters, Republicans can sometimes win more congressional seats even when Democrats win more total votes nationally. Now, how does this affect Black America? Everybody's screaming, racism, you're losing the black vote, blah, 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 blah. See, because Black Americans are heavily concentrated in urban centers that are already politically controlled by Democrats. In many Black communities, they're beginning to ask, if Democrats already control these cities, why are the conditions still declining? Why are there failing schools? Why is housing affordable? Why is crime rising? And why are taxes increases while services are declining? The political map may be blue, but many Black neighborhoods still feel economically redlined. Now, here's where the Democrats face their biggest long-term problem: migration. Millions of Americans are leaving high-tax states for lower-tax red states: Florida, Texas, Tennessee, North Carolina, Georgia. This is not just Republicans moving, their Black families are moving too. Why? Lower housing costs, more home ownership opportunities, lower taxes, business opportunities, more space, lower cost of living. And every time the population shifts, congressional power shifts with it. That means states like New York, California risk losing congressional seats after future censuses, while states like Texas and Florida are going to gain seats. They know this in the long run. Brothers and sisters, that's why the fight is so public and hard. The Democrats know they're going to lose seats. The Republicans know they're going to gain seats. And now the gerrymandering, the Republicans is setting them up to gain even more seats. Now think about what this means politically. Black political influence have historically been tied large to urban Democratic strongholds in northern states. But if the population is declining in those states, in New York and all, congressional influence will shrink too. And this is where the immigration debate becomes politically explosive, brothers and sisters, because the census does not count only citizens, it counts residents. That means population growth itself increases political representation, federal funding, and congressional influence regardless of voting eligibility. So when critics say Democrats support large-scale migration, partly because it helps them maintain the population numbers. This is all a plan. This is done by design to support the migrants, to keep them in their state, to keep the numbers high for the census. See, what they're talking is real political math tied to the census. But they have to cover it up and say it's about you. Black people, this is not about you. Republicans argue mass migration reshapes political representation and strains housing, schools, healthcare, and public resources. But regardless of where the political party stands, the census is the issue. They're fighting for the census. They're not fighting for Black people. More population can be more congressional seats, more electoral college votes, more electoral college influence, and more federal dollars. And this is another reason they're fighting for the migrants, and they don't come out when a young kid gets shot at or killed in Chicago, New York City, or Baltimore. They focus on migration because the battle is for the census. Ain't even about you, but they tell us about you, Black people, so you could get in your emotions. We're in a time right now, you got to understand, brothers and sisters, that many Black Americans and white folks are leaving high tax blue states. See, that's why the census matters so much. The census is not just counting people. The census will be counting political power, electoral votes, federal funding, congressional seats. So while Democrats may win a temporary map battle today and may get you emotional by telling you it's about you, but the fight is the real long-term demographic trends that Black people is losing altogether. And the party that Black people vote for 90% of the time is not even addressing it. See, this is the part nobody wants to talk openly on Black radio. We talk it here at the publisher's desk, Black Westchester. Other people are talking about it, but Black radio ain't talking about it. Black America cannot afford to think only emotionally about politics anymore. The gig is up because the political system is changing structurally. Now listen to this. If population determines power, then ownership matters, migration matters, economic independence matters, negotiation matters. For decades, Black voters have overwhelmingly supported Democrats, especially in the urban centers. But many of those same urban centers are losing population. They're losing the middle-class family. Black people are out of there, going down south in the wet states, and they're getting a piece of land, and they're living their best life. But that's not forcing any more type of conversation in the North. They're not talking about outcomes. They still focusing on Black people being loyal hound dogs to the Democratic Party. See, political loyalty without measurable outcomes, it weakens Black people's leverage. And here's another uncomfortable reality our Black leaders are not talking about. Both parties use Black voters strategically. Democrats often depend on concentrated Black districts for electoral math, Republicans ignore black outreach because they assume the vote is unreachable. I'm going to say it right here. Stephen A. Smith was right in everything he said. But neither side fully addresses the deeper issue. For black people, that's ownership, education, family stability, health, wealth building, economic mobility. Nobody's talking that to black people. And we got black elite Negroes and white liberal people having a political war that is really over power. Has nothing to do with our voting rights. And it has nothing to do with black power. It has to do with democratic power, liberal white power. We have to call it as we see it. Because, brothers and sisters, the power ain't in voting. They could give you a gold card in voting. But if you ain't got no ownership, you ain't got no economic leverage, if you ain't got no land, you ain't got proper business development, if you ain't got functional schools that are not pushing out illiterate young black men and women that can't comprehend, barely can do math, if you ain't got these things, your vote don't mean a goddamn thing. Don't mean nothing. Because you don't have the tools in your toolbox to make the vote work. We have to stop doing what we're doing to ourselves. I don't even know. It's like we're insane. It's like we don't even have fucking common sense. It's like we don't even have common sense. How are we supposed to be educated people? And we just can't understand the simple rules of political engagement. Everything is a trade-off. And now you see that Pharaoh has let you go. You have nothing. And the black leaders, the civil rights leaders, know we have nothing. But they rather us wander in the wilderness and blame racism and say that this one is attacking and Project 2025 and all that other craziness. We're the only ones talking about Project 2025. The Asian people barely vote. You don't hear him talking about Project 2025. Why? Because they have economic leverage. They have business development. They own land. They have schools. And they have their own institutions. Then they come in your neighborhood and set up shop. And then take the money out of your neighborhood and send it to theirs. I'm not going to call that racism, because that's what they're supposed to do. The question is, what are black people doing other than playing a victim, other than looking for a savior? We are our own saviors, but we haven't saw it yet. And that's why we are in the poor condition that we're in, brothers and sisters. See, the gerrymandering war is bigger than politics. It's about where America's heading. The Supreme Court changed the rules. Population shifts are changing the map. The census will reshape congressional power. And migration and immigration are redefining the balance between red states and blue states. And the question is whether Black America will adapt strategically or stay politically reactive and stay as victims. Because the next decade, brothers and sisters, will not belong to the states with the loudest rhetoric. It will belong to the states with the growing population, the stronger economic opportunity, and the expanding political influence. And if Black America wants real leverage in the future, we may need to stop thinking only about who we vote for and start thinking more seriously about where power is actually moving. I'm Damon K. Jones, and this is the Publisher's Desk, powered by Black Westchester Magazine and blackwestchester.com. And please go and get your free e-paper. And please like and share. I know a lot of you people, and we really appreciate it. Y'all guys, some of y'all haven't subscribed to the channel, haven't followed to the channel. Please do so. Help us with the algorithm. Help us move forward. Like I said before, we about that life. We a real newspaper. We a real newspaper. We a real newspaper, man. We about that life. So we out here trying to lift up black people in the Westchester County area. I thank you for your support. And as always, stay safe, stay blessed, and stay blacktastic. Peace out.
Black Westchester's New Spring 2026 e-paper is now available, featuring the life and legacy of Bob Law, breaking news, and stories that matter to our community. Read it now at blackwestchester.com. We appreciate you taking the time to engage with real conversations, real issues, and real perspectives that matter to Black America. Stay connected, stay informed, and as always, we'll see you next time at the publisher's desk. It's going to be Blacktastic. If you're serious about political clarity and independent thinking, this is for you. The Political Thought Bundle includes 3 full books, all personally singling. Democrats and Republicans, The Ultimate Gangbangers, breaks down how the two-party system operates like a legalized street war for power. Emotional Politics, Logical Failure exposes how emotion has replaced strategy in Black political engagement. Tolerance is for Coward lays out a blueprint for extended policing and community-led public safety rooted in outcomes rather than slogans. 3 signed books. One bundle $60. That's a $75 value, and you're getting signed copies included. This isn't left versus right. It's results versus rhetoric. Go to twosteppublishing.com and secure your signed Political Thought Bundle today. It's going to be Blacktastic. For more than a century, Black America built its own economy under segregation, under discrimination, and under conditions most people today cannot imagine. We built businesses. We built banks. We bought land and property. In The Forgotten Blueprint, Damon K. Jones reveals how Black communities created thriving economic systems from 1800 to 1965 and why that blueprint still matters today. This book challenges the idea that our future depends on politics alone and shows how ownership, family, and enterprise once powered Black prosperity. The blueprint is not lost. We just stopped using it. The Forgotten Blueprint, how Black America built its own economy from 1800 to 1965. On sale now at Two Step Publishing and Amazon. Black Westchester Magazine has been giving our community a voice, reporting the stories others ignore, holding power accountable, and making sure the truth about our communities is told by us. But independent Black media only survives when the community supports it. If you believe in real journalism, community accountability, and keeping Black voices strong in local news, we need your help. Your donation helps us continue covering the stories that matter: politics, education, justice, and economic empowerment right here in Westchester. Support Black media, support Black truth, support Black Westchester Magazine. Donate today and help keep Black media alive. Because Black-owned independent media is Blacktastic. Black Westchester Magazine presents People Before Politics, the Sunday Rundown, every Sunday at 6 p.m. on YouTube. Join Damon K. Jones, A.J. Woodson, and Larnez Kinsey as they break down the biggest stories in politics, culture, and community from a Black point of view. No spin, no party loyalty, just logic, accountability, and outcomes. If it impacts Black America, we're talking about it. Tap in, subscribe, set your reminder. This Sunday at 6 p.m. is going to be Blacktastic.
This is the Publisher's Desk with Damon K. Jones, brought to you by Black Westchester Magazine, where life, culture, community, and faith meet truth, power, and purpose.